Hello from a glorious summer's day in Scotland. Although you're attending ECCV online, we couldn't let you miss out on a true Scottish welcome. We hope to see you in Scotland soon.
Hello everybody, I'm Bob Fisher, and on behalf of all of the general chairs, who you can see here, we'd like to welcome you to the largest European conference on computer vision ever. This is really a growing field, and we have really grown this year. I'd like to tell you about what's happening at our conference, as well as the usual scientific program where we have papers, and in this case, we have teaser 1-minute or 2-minute videos, and we also have long video presentations. We also have live question and answering sessions for every paper. With regards to the orals and the spotlights, we also have panel discussions and live question and answer sessions. Our industrial exhibitors have videos showing their latest development. We've got a large number of tutorials and workshops, and also demonstrations. All of these are, the demonstrations are all recorded videos. The tutorials and the workshops are have an element of both live and recording. It was quite a ways to actually get here all the way through to ECCV. Originally, 4 years ago, we had planned to hold it in the Edinburgh Conference Centre for just about 3,000 delegates. As the community has grown and the numbers have grown, we've decided actually to move it to Glasgow. Unfortunately, because of coronavirus, well, as you know, we've all had to move it online. But we still have really a large number of delegates and, as I said, the biggest number ever. So what's new about ECCV 2020? Well, one of the most interesting and exciting things, I think, is the video presentations. Every paper, whether oral, spotlight, or poster, has both a long video and a short taster video where you can get an idea of what the subject is, and then if you're interested, you can watch the long video. We've also grouped all of the videos together into thematic playlists, so you can get an idea of what's going on in a particular subject area. For the orals and spotlights, we've got a panel-style live question and answering session. You have access to all of the content from all of these papers even before the conference starts, so that you can have some idea of the content of the paper and maybe have questions that you would like to ask the authors about during the interactive Zoom sessions for each of the papers. Because our audience is worldwide, we've got a double poster presentation format at approximately 8 to 12 hours in between the two different presentations, so everybody in the world has access to the authors. We went to a publication fee strategy in order to make it cheaper for the individual delegates to come. Many of you will have benefited from that. All delegates have the opportunity to upload their CVs to be shared with selected exhibitors. 500 of the delegates have done that. The exhibitors are showing their technical highlights. Finally, you are used to having your papers on the CVF site. Now the papers are also available on the ECVA website, and then the citable papers will be available in Springerling. There's been some questions about how we chose the pricing for our conference. The first point I need to make is even an online conference is expensive. This conference itself costs over £1 million, and the money has to come from somewhere, and that's why we have registration fees. Where all that money goes to is essentially licenses for all the different platforms that we need. We have a professional conference organizing team which is helping build all of these components together into a useful platform. There is just loads of incidental things like taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff. The prices were targeted at having an approximately zero balance between the income from the papers and from the costs, and we've done that approximately as well. The general chairs would really like to thank all of the people who've contributed to this conference, especially the program chairs who put together the program, from coordinating the reviewing to the coordinating the area chairs who are proposing the papers, from selecting the papers and then putting it together into a program. We'd also like to thank the two sponsoring organizations behind the conference. That's the British Machine Vision Association and the European Computer Vision Association. And we had a lot of support from the City of Glasgow financially, particularly as we had planned to go to their exhibition centre. The Open Review team were always there when we needed them. There were hundreds of area chairs and thousands of reviewers. You'll find out more about that in the presentation from the program chairs. Springer was our publisher, and they were a great help. And finally, it was just such a great team from the conference partners, and especially Ashley Cook, who helped coordinate all of the different components of putting together this conference. We got some great sponsors. Each of these sponsors has a booth on the online site. You can go visit the booth. You can talk to the delegates who are there. You can watch the videos. You can ask them questions. We all wish you a great online experience at ECCV 2020. Thank you very much.
Welcome to ECCV 2020. The PCs are really sorry that we cannot welcome you in person this time. Let me introduce you the four of us. Andrea Vidaldi will later tell you more about the statistics of this ECCV. Jan Michael Fram will present you all the awards. This is what you're actually waiting for. Thomas Prox will give you all the insights about the review process. Myself, Horst Bischoff, will guide you through this brief introduction. At this ECCV, we introduced two major innovations. One is the whole ECCV is online. Unfortunately, I would like to say. The second innovation is that we use this time open review system for reviewing the paper, but Thomas will tell you more details about that. Otherwise, if you look at the program looks very similar to other ECCVs in recent years. For example, we have 1,360 posters which are organized in 16 Zoom sessions. We have 104 oral presentation and 160 spotlights organized in 16 live Q&A sessions which you can attend. Before and after the conference, we have 2 days of workshops and tutorials, altogether 45 workshops and 16 tutorials. The main interface to the conference is this 6Connect site and there the lobby. There is a fantastic video of Bob explaining all this functionality, what you have there. But there is one thing I would really like to draw your attention to, which is when you go to the individual papers, you will find there all the information like author, presenter, the video links, when it will be presented, and so on. But you will also find there a particular site on related papers. This has been calculated automatically by the Open Review paper matching system. And this should help you to navigate through the program to find those papers that are most interesting to you in a very convenient way. I will hand now over to Andrea for some statistics.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you now about the numbers of ECCV 2020. This year we have a very large conference. We have, in fact, more than 5,000 submissions, and of those we have accepted about 1,300. Now, this is an acceptance rate of 26%, which is in line with prior edition of ECCV, maybe perhaps just a little lower than usual. We also had 104 orals and 160 spotlights. In terms of the areas that were of the most interest to the community, at least based on the keywords that authors entered for their papers during the submission process, we see, and this is probably not very surprising, that the lion's share is taken by deep learning. This is followed by recognition, matching detection, and so on, And then we have observed an increasing interest in image and video synthesis, which is also a trend that is not so recent. It was visible also in prior conferences too, particularly when this is done via adversarial learning. We have also seen, however, quite a bit of interest in body analysis, including pose recognition and pose reconstruction in 3D. There was also an interest in 3D reconstruction and 3D geometry in general, as well as an interest in representational learning, especially if done via unsupervised or self-supervised learning methods. In terms of the institutions that contributed the most to the conference, at least based on the number of papers they had accepted, we see that there is a very good mix actually between industry and academia. For industry, we see the usual suspects such as Google, Facebook, and Microsoft submitted the majority of papers that were accepted eventually. But we see that academia has also done very, very well, being highly competitive with these labs. This is particularly true for institutions in Asia and in China in particular. Next, I would like to discuss the growth of ECCV. As you can see from this graph, ECCV in 2018 had about 2,500 papers submitted to it. Now, in 2020, this number has grown to 5,000. Now, this means that the number of papers, at least the ones submitted to the conference, was about double this year. And this is only in only 2 years' time, so this is quite a rapid growth. Another very interesting data point, I think, is a comparison with CVPR, which is arguably our largest meeting. And in 2018, ECCV was about 73% of the size of CVPR, at least based on the number of papers submitted to the conference. However, this year, in 2020, we see that this percentage has risen to 87%. Now, what this means is that ECCV, at least in terms of popularity with others, seems to be catching up to CVPR, and seems to be doing so quite fast. Naturally, in order to be able to handle a review process of this size, we had to increase the size of the reviewing team compared to prior editions. So, compared to 2018 in particular, the number of program chairs really did not change. There were 4 in 2018, and there are 4 this year too. However, we had 60% more area chairs, and we also had 130% more reviewers. Because the number of papers submitted increased by only, so to speak, 110%, this means that this year we had, in fact, a better ratio between a number of papers submitted and reviewers. This means that we were able to reduce slightly the reviewer load. In 2018, each reviewer was asked to perform 8 reviews, and this year it was asked to perform only 7 reviews. In fact, we allowed the reviewers also to commit to do only 6 papers, as long as they also commit to perform an emergency review. And as we're going to say in a minute, this was actually very important. Finally, in terms of area chair load, each area chair was asked to review on average 22 primary papers, which was only a slight increase compared to ECCV 2018. Next, I'm going to leave the stage to Thomas so that he can talk to you about the review process in more detail. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Thomas Brox, and in the next few minutes I will give you some details about the review process. We had a few novelties this year. For instance, we had a very large number of submissions. We had the corona pandemics, which affected the review process. And also we were the first large computer vision conference that used the open review system for the whole review process. The use of open review is actually not uncommon at vision conferences. For example, last ECCV used open review for conflict management already. Open review hosts long-term profiles of the community members, which is very important these days as the Asian community has become more prominent and their names are not unique in the Western system. And even if people have unique names, there is often confusion with constantly changing emails and affiliations. All this is important for reliable conflict detection. Open review also automatically builds expertise models. With all this in place, we had very strong tools for paper assignments to reviewers. The development and support team was amazingly responsive, even at weekends and through time zones. which made it safe to configure OpenReview for the special needs of ECCV. It is important to note that while we were using OpenReview as a system, the review process itself was the same as for other vision conferences. In particular, it was double-blind and confidential, so rejected papers are not revealed to the public and also the reviews stay private. Except for 6 out of 5,000 papers, we also managed to get at least 3 reviews. There was the usual possibility for authors to respond to the reviews, and reviewers in the primary area chair discussed the papers to come to a more mature decision. We did not have a physical area chair meeting, of course. To not leave the area chairs alone with their decision, the papers were assigned to a second expert area chair who checked the decision of the primary area chair and who was available for discussion of difficult cases. We, the program chairs, mainly organized and ran the process at the meta level. We decided how the process is set up and how decisions are being made, but we did not contribute to the decision-making itself. We only stepped in for a handful of papers where the primary and secondary area chair could not reach a consensus despite lengthy discussions. As usual, the program chairs could not co-author papers submitted to ECCV. The other chairs could, as they played no role in the decision process. A good paper matching to reviewers is decisive for high-quality reviews. Our matching was based on several components. Apart from the usual TPMS paper matching, we additionally used the expertise model of OpenReview. Both allowed us to produce a ranked list of papers automatically for each reviewer or AC. Since the matching scores are not always reliable, we used paper bidding as a way for area chairs and reviewers to manually rectify these mistakes. For reviewer assignment, there are additionally the area chair recommendations, which had the largest influence on the paper assignment. Conflicts were detected automatically, but ACs and reviewers were obliged to declare further conflicts. So we had a very sophisticated system for paper matching in place. Nonetheless, matching was very difficult this year because of the large number of submissions and the limited resource of reviewers. The maximum load of 7 papers per reviewer that we promised was effectively reduced to 6 papers due to reserving some reviews for emergency reviewing. With a ratio of 5.4 papers per reviewer, this made assignment extremely tight. Keep in mind that the expertise statistics of reviewers and that of submitted papers does not match perfectly. So even if theoretically there are 1,000 extra reviews available for a paper, the corresponding reviewers may all just not have the right expertise to cover this paper. Assigning a reviewer with the wrong expertise will lead to a low-quality review. This makes the paper-reviewer ratio the most important component for high-quality reviews, and it gives a clear signal to the community. If you want to have higher quality reviews, you must submit fewer papers and commit more to reviewing. The second problem we faced was the missing reliability of many reviewers. After the reviewing deadline, we missed 30% of the reviews. We assume that COVID played a major role, as even some reliable reviewers from the past had problems delivering. But also NURIM's deadline could have contributed to this. Nonetheless, we managed to get all except 6 missing reviews while mostly staying on schedule. This is thanks to the many area chairs who solved the problem with people from their own team, and thanks to the emergency reviewers who did a great job on providing reviews in a very short time. To also give reward to those who contributed exceptionally to the review process, all reviews were rated by the area chairs. All good reviews added positive scores, whereas non-delivered reviews added negative scores. So the overall score of a reviewer scales both with the number of delivered reviews and their quality. We gave 214 free registrations to the top scoring reviewers, and we sent reviewer certificates to all reviewers with a positive overall score. The 12 reviewers with the highest overall score are listed here, together with their affiliation. thank you and all reviewers for the important work. We also thank the area chairs and the publication chairs for the time and expertise they committed. We thank the Open Review team, and in particular Melissa and Mohit, for spending their weekends to keep the process running on schedule. Lauren Charlin from TPMS for the smooth communication. The iClear program chairs for providing us with more reviewer contacts after we noticed after the submission deadline that we don't have enough. And finally, the ICML and NeurIPS chairs for the smooth mutual dual submission check. Thank you all. With this, I hand over to Jan, who will present the awards.
Welcome to the virtual awards ceremony at ECCV 2020. My name is Jan-Michael Frahm, and it's my pleasure to present the awards. The first award is the Koenderink Award, which recognizes fundamental contributions in computer vision. It is awarded at each ECCV for a paper that has been published 10 years ago at ECCV and has withstood the test of time. The committee was chaired by Jitendra Malik, and the other committee members were Kostas Danielidis, Petros Maragos, Nikos Paragios, and Andrew Zisserman. This year, we have two Koenderink Award winners. The first paper winning the award is Improving the Fisher Kernel for Large-Scale Image Classification by Florent Perronin, George Sanchez, and Thomas Mensing. The second paper winning the award is Brief Binary Robust Independent Elementary Features by Michael Calonda, Vincent Lepetit, Christoph Strecher, and Pascal Foix. The next prize is the PAMI Mark Everingham Prize. It's an annual award given to a researcher or a team of researchers who have made a selfless contribution of significant benefit to other members of the computer vision community. The Everingham Prize was created to commemorate Mark Everingham, who died in 2012, and to encourage others to follow in his footsteps by acting to further progress in the computer vision community as a whole. Mark Everingham was best known for his contributions to organizing the Pascal VOC dataset and challenges. The prize is awarded annually at ECCV and ICCV, and the winners are selected by the PAMI TC Awards Committee, which consists of David Forsyth, Jitendra Malik, Joseph Civic, Luc van Gool, John Wynn, and Andrew Zisserman. This year, we have two winners of the Everingham Prize. The first winners are Antonio Torralba and collaborators for multiple datasets. For the regular release of new datasets and new methods of creating them that has been sustained for over a decade. The datasets Label Me, Tiny Images, Sun3D, and MIT Places have been very influential on the field. The second winner of the Mark Everingham Prize is Johannes Schönberger for the Colmap SFM and MVS, for providing an open source end-to-end pipeline for 3D reconstruction from images and its support, development, and documentation. It has become the reference software for both structure from motion and multi-view stereo. As a reminder, the Mark Everingham Prize is a community-driven award, so please send your 2021 nominations to the awards committee at this email. The next award is the ECCV Best Demo Award. This year we had 46 submissions, out of which 41 were selected for presentation at the ECCV. All of these are fantastic demos, and it was really hard to make a decision. The chairs narrowed it down to a list of 3 contenders, the first one of which is Finger Track, Continuous 3D Hand Pose Tracking by Feng Hu, Songlin Chu, Peng He, Yin Wei, and Cheng Zhang from Cornell University, University of Wisconsin, and Shanghai Jiaotong University. The second contender was Interhomings by Rita Kuchera, Matteo Fabri, and Simone Calderera from the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, Italy. The third contender was Object Detection Kit Identifying Urban Issues in Real Time by Martin Zucker, Steven Rudinek, Marcel Boying from the University of Amsterdam. And the winner of the Best Demo Award that was selected from these three is interhomines, which demonstrates how to measure distances between people in spaces and their interaction in a privacy-consistent setting. With that, we come to the Best Paper Award for ECCV 2020. The process was the following: that the PCs selected the best papers based on the reviews and EC recommendations. Then the awards committee selected the best paper out of those and 2 papers for honorable mention. The committee this year was Gurus Agapito, Ivan Laptek, Svetlana Lazetnik, Viktor Lipitsky, and Ming-Swan Yang. The first best paper honorable mention goes to the paper Towards Streaming Image Understanding by Mengtian Li, Chu-Shuang Wang, and Deva Ramanan. The second honorable mention for ECCV 2020 goes to the paper Nerve Representing Scenes as Neural Radiance Fields for View Synthesis by Ben Mildenhall, Pratul Srinivasan, Matthew Tansik, John Barron, Ravi Ramamurthy, Ren Hang. And the Best Paper Award for ECCV 2020 goes to the paper Raft Recurrent All Pairs Field Transforms for Optical Flow by Zachary Teed and Jia Deng. Congratulations to all award winners for ECCV 2020, and we hope you enjoy the conference.